Got in trouble on one time. This group came after me because I said Marjorie belonged to me.
And they said she's not a possession. She's a person. She's a human.
She is. She mine. What is you talking about? She belonged to me, but I got news for you. I'm hers. I belong to her. See, if you don't like that system, carry your punk ass on. Go do something else. And let me know how that work out for you. I want to belong to somebody.
Right.
I want somebody to belong to me.
Guys that use money to sustain their relationships and use money to get their way in. That was weak. That's weakness. It's weak because you don't believe in you enough. The money makes you more of whatever you already are, but you got to bring something to the table.
Sometimes you just need to be by yourself to collect your thoughts.
Yep.
It's an overwhelming thing, especially if the other person is making you feel responsible for their happiness. That's a toxic relationship if you have to be responsible for somebody else's happiness.
A few moments later.
These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do your ass bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you.
Let me tell y'all something. A woman can't make another you. She can carry another you. Your seed is the spirit of life. It's alive. It's swimming on its own. The egg is being moved through the fallopian tube with help.
You can go anywhere to get the lies, but I know you came here to get the truth. Welcome to the Alphasphere. Welcome to the Alphasphere, the only place on the planet that's totally engulfed in positivity and totally submerged in alpha energy. I'm your host, Dr. BOA.
The woman get 85, you get 15. It requires a woman more money to dress. And you're not professing your love for what you doing. And until we start teaching this to the younger generation.
That's what $1 million do. Get rid of
everything.
Get rid of all those domestic $10 an hour chores she got to do every day. If I come in the house, I don't even want to see my wife folding clothes. Why you want to see your wife folding clothes for?
Guys that use money to sustain their relationships and use money to get their way in. That was weak. That's weakness. It's weak because you don't believe in you enough. The money makes you more of whatever you already are, but you got to bring something to the table.
If you lead with your wallet, your relationship with a woman will never be solid. She will always view you as a man who must pay for her to stay, as a man who must pay to play. You cannot pay for something and then expect someone to give it to you for free someday just because you've paid so much for it. You can go anywhere to get the lies, but I know you came here to get the truth. Welcome to the Alphasphere. Welcome to the Alphasphere, the only place on the planet that's totally engulfed in positivity and totally submerged in alpha energy. I'm your host, Dr. BOA.
That's what $1 million do. Get rid of
everything.
Get rid of all those domestic $10 an hour chores she got to do every day. Bro, if I come in the house, I don't even want to see my wife folding clothes. Why you want to see your wife folding clothes for? Bro, she raising the baby, bro. No, you good. We good. They had enough of that. That's what I'm saying. They not their grandmothers, bro. Grandma. What grandmothers do on Sundays? The entire Sunday. They
Folding,
dedicate
cleaning, dishes, everything.
And for some reason, like, we just drag that on.
We do.
Like, we supposed to do that. And then we got some men out here who are saying, no, I can't marry her, bro. She don't cook and clean. And what?
Right.
Nobody want to do that. First of all, our grandma ain't want to do that shit, bro. My grandma had 12 kids.
My grandma had 9.
Yeah, you see, and they had to do all that with 9 kids. Why you want to bring that traumatic experience to your wife to do the same thing? The thing is, that energy gonna come on to me. If she got to cook and clean all day, I'm gonna come home after I just got finished working.
All right. So when you really think about it, man, you hear this guy talking like when a woman works at home, when she cleans up, that she got to do it every day. That when she cooks, she got to spend all day cooking. That when she does laundry, she got to spend all day, every day doing laundry. What the hell you mean, man? How you gonna compare your woman who got 1 child to your grandma who had 12? Of course it's hectic for a woman with 12 kids to do laundry. She got to do laundry for 12 kids and a husband and herself. Your woman got 1 child. This is a simp talking about trying to make up for what he believes his grandma went through. Because I bet he ain't never asked his grandma, do she want to do that? That's a woman talking through him.
I'm like, damn, bro, like, how can I fix this? And that's when I started hiring all the cleaners and all the people around the house.
And I think a lot of dudes don't realize that once you make a woman's life, especially if it's a woman that's really rocking with you, y'all for each other, once you make her life easier, we always talking about peace. We need peace of mind. She's gonna be that peace that you talking about once you make her life that simple and easy.
Yeah, but she can't be your peace if she just doing all these chores and shit, bro.
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now, and I want every man within the sound of my voice to hear this. If you need a woman to be your peace, you're weak.
Now, there's a real issue going on in this society. And it's mainly based on a bunch of beta male simp manginas who ain't never had no money and were never able to get women without money, who now suddenly have money, and now they're able to have access to a different quality of women, or women in general that they've never been able to have access to before.
Look, no woman is going to be happy with you chasing her ass all the time. Like all the time. I'm not talking about in the beginning when you guys are coming together. I'm talking about if you live your life chasing a woman and showing up at her doorstep and having flowers and shit and violins and, you know, all that shit, you killing yourself. Yeah. The relationship is not going to last. The reality is, when you buy your way in and you become a provider and you just become like you represent provision, that's not the same as being sexually stimulating.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like representing provision and just being a guy, yo, I'm gonna buy you a bunch of shit. Yo, that's weak. See, guys that use money to sustain their relationships and use money to get their way in. That shit is weak. It's weakness. It's weak because you don't believe in you enough. You trying to use money.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
100%.
You gotta be you. The money is an exclamation mark. The money makes you more of whatever you already are. But you gotta bring something to the table.
And you have to understand, the initial way you interact with someone is the way they're always going to see you. Now what you hear are two OGs. Now one of these guys has been married to his wife since he was 17, 18, 19 years old. LL has been with the same woman for 30 years. And so what we have to understand is that on the other side, Mike Tyson is a man who has a new wife now, but we know what Mike Tyson has gone through back in the days when he was trying to pay women to stay, pay a woman to play, where he led with his wallet and then got upset when it didn't turn into what he thought it should turn into. See, you can't buy a woman's respect. You can't buy a woman's submission. You can't buy a woman's dedication. Tricking has been excused and abused by dudes who don't mind being misused. That's all we're dealing with in this particular society. So you have a bunch of men who are willing to give whatever they have to give just to have a woman present. They don't value what they have more than they value a woman's presence. So you can work for 10, 15 years to build yourself to the most alpha version of yourself and put yourself in a financially secure position only to meet a woman and say, okay, you're so beautiful that you need to have access to all of this without making her earn anything. See, what y'all got to understand is this, man. If you got to pay to play, the woman don't want to play for real. She'll just do whatever it takes to get the bag. If there is no mutual attraction, if there's no we can't keep our hands off of each other mindset, if there's not that type of physical connection, then there's going to be some ulterior motive for a woman being with you. And many men don't understand that. See,
women today have lesser choices. It's really not the women's fault. They're just dealing with the residue for so many fatherless homes. Oh man, it's 50-50. It ain't 50-50. If you're married, it's 85-15. The woman get 85, you get 15. It requires a woman more money to dress, to take care of herself, to run the household. You're not really good at running the household. A woman knows virtually everything to really run that empire. I'm doing what I do. I protect, provide, and profess. 3 P's that a man show love. So if you're not providing for your woman, you're not protecting her, and you're not professing your love for her, what you doing? And until we start teaching this to the younger generation, they actually think that a girl supposed to pay for something.
And listen to the myriad of other things that this guy is responsible for saying. Then we'll come back and chop it up on the real team.
Every couple should have 4 bank accounts. The one bank account, and that's your joint account, it pays everything that's a necessity to live. The second account, a savings account, where you both agree to put X amount of dollars of that money in it, and it takes 2 signatures to move it. The third and fourth account, she should have her own bank account, and you should have your own bank account. She can do whatever she want to do. She ain't got to check with you and ask, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you ain't got to check with her and ask. And that way, guess what? The bills are paid, you have a roof over your head and a car to drive. You all are trying to save a little bit of money, and you gotta have your own life.
Those 2 joint accounts you have together, the bill paying one and the savings. Should the man put in more money than the woman?
Your check, my check, should go into the account. Then the decision is made how much goes into your personal to do what you want to do, and how much goes into my personal.
Now, when you hear this guy talking, you understand that he really believes what he's saying. He isn't one of these guys who just making up things to try to sell a book or try to sell some consultations or any of that. This guy believes what he's saying. You know why? Because he lives it. You cannot say a man is faking if he talks about what he lives, if he preaches what he lives, if he says it how he does it. You can't talk bad about that man as far as saying that he's faking. No, Steve believes what he's saying because Steve is in a situation where he's living this way. What happens in this particular society is men try to say it's not tricking if you got it. Well, here's the problem with that. You can't trick if you ain't got it. So it's got to be tricking only if you got it. Otherwise, if you ain't got it, you don't matter in this conversation. It's the mindset and the connection you must have with a woman to be able to make her do whatever you want her to do. Now, you got to be a man of some moral fiber or have some moral compass governing your actions where you don't just have a woman doing nothing crazy like that. But if you're going to lead a woman in the proper direction to benefit the process of your progress in the real world, in a real way, boy, ain't nothing like the ism. Boy, let me tell you something. Y'all better start respecting the prism of the ism, because if not, then all you going to do is gravitate toward the mindset of a trick. And yes, it is still tricking if you got it. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Simps claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Betas claiming to be alpha, but they not though. Now, I'm not gonna tell you, man, that you shouldn't value your woman at all. A woman does have value, but you can't overvalue her.